It's 2020, and yeah, everything kind of stinks right now, but in the end of the day, we still love cars. We love seeing cars go fast. So how easy is it to do a 10-second quarter mile nowadays? Well, apparently all you need is a 2018 and up Mustang GT with a 10-speed and VMP's new supercharger kit. VMP Performance made my 2013 Mustang GT a 700 horsepower monster with their VMP Gen 3, and they were also the first people to actually swap the 2020 GT500 motor into an older Mustang and also make it a manual. I became one of the first people to drive VMP's brand new supercharger setup, and I couldn't wait to see what it was like. So let's go for a drive. What is up, ladies and gentlemen? I am still at VMP. I just did the ridiculous track attack with the swap from the new GT500. If you haven't seen that, go check it out. It's pretty ridiculous. But this is a 2019 Mustang GT, and I know you're gonna say, why in the world are you reviewing another 18 or 19 Mustang GT? Well, this has the brand new blower from VMP that was just announced. So this is the Odin, and you might notice the Odin physically looks different than the VMP Gen 3, which is also a fantastic blower, by the way. The Odin is this big, beefy blower that you put under the hood, and it makes gobs so much power I can't even describe. But this is what's called the LOKI package. Why is it called the LOKI package? Well, you know, Nordic gods and all that good stuff. Loki is the younger son. So that being said, you get the blower, 10 pounds of boost, stock airbox, stock intake, etc., and you still make 630 wheel horsepower on 93 pump gas. Now, 630 wheel horsepower is a lot of horsepower, but what makes it even crazier and scarier in a way is that it's going through the 10R80. I've done crazy high horsepower 18 Mustangs, upwards of 1200 horsepower. You could daily drive this just fine. It feels completely normal in all the power band. But let me come back around. This 2019 Mustang is actually the first one I ever driven without the digital gauges and without the bigger Apple CarPlay screen and all that. So this is the base of the base of the base Mustang you can get for the most part. And it doesn't feel hardly any different. The only thing is some of the amenities in the interior. We got the 10-speed transmission, and in some ways, this can be scarier than the track attack I just drove. Why is that? Well, the auto in this thing is so ferocious, and also this thing ran a mid 10-second quarter mile at 130 miles an hour with 603 wheel horsepower and a heavy Mustang. It's pretty ridiculous. As you see, driving around, completely calm, and I've driven so many of these now that it's a piece of cake. But how the Odin is gonna be, that's what I'm here for. That's why we're driving this today. It also has a grabber blue plasti dip job on it all the way around, and it looks pretty good. But one of my favorite things is the freaking meme sticker of Sonic on the back. It says, "Gotta go fast." And you know what? It's not just there for looks, it actually is a fast car, so that's always good. I love when people have a sense of humor, but also have a big boy car. There's just nothing like it. But it also has the GT350 fenders up front, and it's got a GT500 front on it. So that's why it looks kind of different from all the other 18 Mustangs. It has a much more aggressive face. The grille is more aggressive. The sides are more aggressive. It even has the diffusers from the handling package on it. It has all sorts of things up front to change from the normal 18. And all of this is brought to you by Anderson Composites. They sponsored this car, and they put all their good carbon on it. Speaking of the carbon, it also has a carbon rear trunk on the back, and it's much, much lighter than the stock trunk in every way. And the fit and finish of Anderson Composites is next level when it comes to carbon. Sometimes you're dealing with, you know, a mold that looks pretty by other brands. It doesn't fit all that well, and you'll have this huge panel gap, and you're like, why did I do this? I don't care if it's carbon or not. Now it looks like crap. But nope, Anderson stuff, incredibly well-built carbon material. It's really well done. Look, this is me big toeing it. And it's not that loud. So it actually has stock headers on it, still making this much power. And on the other note, it has long tube header exhaust. The company's name is LTH, so that's why you can get confused sometimes. Some people say, oh, I have LTH. You're like, oh, you got headers? No, they make exhaust too. That's why. There's basically no drone. It's pretty comfortable. These are the base seats. They're just the base cloth seats. But this is a car, you know, with the Odin and with the Loki. This is just a car to be like, hey, can we test this out? All right, we have the motor and the trans, and it's a comfortable car in general. We don't need all the luxuries and everything. It just works. And the fact that they made a 10-second car, you know, in less than a day, it's pretty remarkable. The paddles as well, you have a manual mode if you want to. You know, you downshift, and you downshift, and you downshift, and you down. There's so many with the 10-speed, right? And you see that? Okay, that is the car begging for traction. And yet, I just got out of a 1,000 horsepower S550, and just because this isn't manual, it's just ready to go all the time. Think about it. There's never a break for you, your brain. There's never a break for the car ever. It just shifts and shifts and shifts. And comparing the 10-speed to the DCT and the GT500, do they feel different? Yes. Is the DCT pretty incredible? Yeah, absolutely. It's dual clutch. Of course it's gonna be incredible. But this is not that far behind for not being a dual clutch. It's pretty impressive. So now I'm in sport mode. Sport mode is much more aggressive, and VMP tuned it to be even more aggressive than stock. So the throttle response, the way it shifts, the way the power comes on, plus you have force induction, it's just a good time. Thing is ridiculous. Guys, do not feel left out if you can't afford the GT500. I'm telling you, like, Mustang GT is a great platform, and so are some other muscle cars, right? They're really good bang for your buck now. They're really good for making power, but it's great. It's a beast, and also the Odin has pretty much no heat soak. A lot of other blowers typically heat soak after 1 or 2 pulls, and then you're out 100 horsepower. So to give you perspective how important and how vital the Odin's cooling system is, when you floor this car, I can't make this up, it gets colder. It is so overcooled, over-engineered in the cooling system that you're literally dropping degrees as you floor it. So as I do this, I'm making the engine colder. By the end of their 10-second quarter-mile pass, the engine had dropped 9 degrees. What? Heat soak was always the enemy of TVS and Roots and twin screw, whatever platform you're using with a supercharger. And it's just not a problem anymore. All right, so I have track sport on, which means everything's off pretty much. Okay. It goes and it goes and it goes and it goes and it goes. This is essentially if somebody wanted to go to VMP and they said, hey, listen, I want your blower, but let me ease up to everything first, right? Well, they would start with the Loki. They would grab this blower, start with the Odin blower, which is already bananas and crazy, but starting it at a conservative level of boost at 10 pounds, put it on that, and then you're already making over 600 horsepower on pump gas. Not bad, right? But you have so much headroom later. If you want to keep going, you're gonna have pretty much unlimited. You can go over 1,000 plus with this blower later in your life if you get ambitious. But a lot of people don't need that. So that's why they start with the Loki and work their way up. This thing shifts so fast, dude. Okay, here's what's nuts, right? The power band of the Odin, it's so controllable, but yet ferocious at the exact same time. If you think about it, you're faster than just about everything. It's still a 10-second car, but you're not having to get 1,000 horsepower to make it there. Long gone are those days, and with this is still a factory engine. The new 1819 motor, a lot of people were a little wary about them at first because they changed their compression ratio. And this is 12.5 to 1. It's a crazy compression. It's not like the older Coyotes where it's more like 11 to 1 or 11.5 to 1. I need off the top of my head. But by changing just that and the direct injection, it's incredible because the fuel system in these are fantastic. The injectors are bigger. You don't really need to upgrade your fuel system all too much for E85 if you're naturally aspirated. And all you have to do is get the calibration and you can run E85 in these cars. It's amazing. The flex fuel, you don't even need a technical flex fuel sensor. You don't need to install anything. It's just built in. It just needs to be unlocked by your homies. That's it. I don't have too much more to say about the 2018 Mustang or the 19 Mustang. They're extremely similar. They're pretty much the same car. But there's so much way to personalize it. There's so much way to make power without even opening your engine. I mean, today I did 2 bolt-ons on my 10-speed car and made almost 460 wheel horsepower. Now compared to this, does that sound kind of lame? No, I'm telling you, 400 horsepower is still a good amount of horsepower, but by just adding on this Odin, ready to go. What do you think about the Odin, the new blower for VMP? I think what's so wild is that there's not that much blower noise in this one. It feels like it's all motor still, but just faster. And I actually see that as a good thing. I mean, if you want to be a sleeper, this is the way to do it. So, on that note, huge thanks to VMP for letting me drive this thing. It was a ton of fun, and I will see you guys next time. I upload every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, and have a great day. Goodbye. This video is brought to you by Patterson Car Care. Get double of premium original detail product for half the price. Head over to PattersonCarCare.com or go to the link in the description below.